Welcome back. It is a feel-good morning, but we still leave a little bit of room to get serious. Why? Because, well, Cape Town at the moment is being ravaged by fires, and there is a lot that you and I can do in our individual capacities to create a safer environment. But we also have to lend our support to the firefighters that are working around the clock at the moment. Station Commander Theo Lane, who put me through my paces when I got a taste of a fireman's life, is here to join us to fill us in on a few safety tips, but also bring us up to speed on how your guys are doing out in the winelands. How are they doing? They must be exhausted at this stage. It seems to be around the clock.
Yeah, we have firefighters but basically working around the clock. Some of them are working extra time, and that is just to have additional staff to actually extinguish this fire, because it has been burning for a few days. And as long as the weather is hot and dry and windy, this is going to be ongoing.
I know it's very difficult to forecast, certainly down here in Cape Town, but this is, you were saying earlier, this is quite late in season to have this degree of wind. Is there any hope in sight? Are you guys just battling down the hatches at this stage?
Well, we will just keep on, making every attempt to get as much staff out there as possible, putting out these fires. We have got additional seasonal firefighters which we are calling in and making sure that we can get these fires out as quickly as possible.
This is, of course, a story that you are very used to down here in the Cape. You guys have to be prepared for fire season. But we've seen a huge amount of very destructive fires, not only out in the winelands or in our sort of beautiful natural areas, but in highly densely populated areas. In our informal settlements, we've seen some terrible situations. Let's get into a bit of safety as it pertains to fires in the home. Let's look at the informal settlement. What are your biggest worries when you look at the current living conditions? Why is it so easy for fires to spread in these areas?
Right, we look at the most recent big fire that we had, BM section. And now the structures there, they are too close. They were too close to each other. Once the fire starts in one structure and fanned by the strong southeasterly wind, which actually blew on that specific day, it's difficult, first of all, for the firefighters to get in and amongst the shacks to actually extinguish this fire. Then also the water supply within the area, those are the problems that they encountered. So I think the main focus should be on how does the individual owner of each structure actually make sure that their fire safety is in place. You're looking at heating devices, cooking devices, then also illegal electrical connections. We find that these are the main causes of these fires. So each individual must take a responsibility to make sure that it's actually extinguished. Must make sure that they actually follow general guidelines.
Because we understand the desperation for the need for electricity in those areas, but when weighed up against a life, a child's life, and sadly, those are most often the victims, children left sleeping in these establishments at night, those are generally the ones that fall victim. It's about creating a culture of fire safety in these areas.
Most definitely. They have to, from very young, teach children about fire safety. It's important that they start learning this from a very young age. And I think the whole safety thing should start with children. We do have a fire safety education department that go out to schools especially to teach children these things and tell them about what to do in the case of a fire, but more so what to do to prevent a fire from breaking out. What not, like don't play with matches, don't paraffin, gas, those things get taught to them from school level already, so that they're aware that these things are dangerous and that they must be very wary about it.
Now, looking at those horror emergency situations like the one that recently happened in Brazil, that nightclub where over 200 people were, it sounds like, suffocated to death, ultimately. How do we avoid those situations? What do people do in those situations? I know this is obviously where you work very closely with the owners of clubs and establishments before the fact. You don't want to be addressing these situations after the fact. Yes,
definitely. We've had our fire safety officers going out to buildings, inspecting buildings, and this is done throughout the year. They make sure that all the fire safety regulations are complied with. It is legislated that they need to have certain things in place. And that is why we have had occasion where we've closed down premises because of the lack of the required safety precautions that these buildings must take. Because when you go into a shopping mall, for example, you don't know the place specifically how to and what to do. But the owners of those premises should make sure that there are things in place to ensure the visitors' safety at the end of the day.
What should I do in that situation if I find myself in that situation as someone who's experienced those kind of conditions? What should you do in that kind of emergency?
When you go into a place that you are unfamiliar with, the first thing that you must get to know is, how do I get out of here if it burns? So you'll see there's signage. Make sure that there is signage. Look at what the signage actually says. Where's your escape routes? Basically, anything that you are unfamiliar with, make sure that you get to know the building. If you go to a shopping mall regularly, you start noticing certain things, and you must pick up these things: fire extinguishing equipment, the fire safety doors, etc. Are they blocked? Are they not blocked? And these are little things, but it actually can save your life at the end of the day.
If you don't see any of them, get out. I suppose this is an area where corporates really can get involved if they want to put their backing behind education programs. It seems like you guys already have a lot on the go. Is there anything that anyone can do to help in the case of the Boland fires? Do you guys need assistance? Where can we as the public support you in your efforts?
Yeah, it is very difficult because of these fires are very... you need experience to fight these fires because you can find yourself trapped very, very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah.
So, yes, as far as volunteers is concerned, it's more on a logistic basis. You know, assisting with liquid refreshments, solid refreshments, because these crews spend a lot of time out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're basically eating on the run, and it's not something that you can say... somebody from outside can come in and assist and fight the fire.
It's almost like a war zone.
But there's more the logistic side that we actually get a lot of help from a lot of people, especially the residents of any specific area.
Well, thank you so much for the hard work that you do. I'm sure we're going to be touching base with you quite a bit this year in educating the public out there on how to protect themselves and protect our children especially. I think let's create that culture of learning around fire safety.
Most definitely.
Thank you very much, Station Commander Theo Lane, filling us in on the fires that are currently raging through the Boland, but also on what we can do to protect ourselves, to protect our household. Electricity is a big thing. We really have to beware of illegal electrical hookups. It is something that's just not worth it on the back end. We're going to take a very quick break. We've got the South African Youth Orchestra in studio today. Cannot wait to introduce them to you.